Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a close look at something really critical for instrument pilots, aircraft icing.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Our sources really paint it as, well, unpredictable and stealthy, super dangerous,
Yeah.
especially if you're flying something not certified for flight into known icing, non-FIKI.
Exactly.
Just picture it. Cold day, damp air, and bam, your wings start losing that smooth shape, losing lift. It's the stuff of nightmares, really.
You've nailed the seriousness of it. For a typical GA plane, like a Cessna, ice can build up frighteningly fast, and the impact is severe. So if you're studying for your BIR, your basic instrument rating, or just flying IFR regularly, understanding this isn't just, theory for an exam.
That's survival.
It's about making smart calls in the cockpit. So our mission today is basically, what is this stuff? How do we try and avoid it? And what do you do immediately if you find yourself in it?
Okay, let's get into that. When we talk about ice, is it all the same? Or are there different kinds we need to be able to sort of identify? Does it matter in the moment?
Oh, absolutely it matters. Knowing the type gives you a clue about how bad it is, how fast it might get worse, and how it's affecting your plane. There are really four main types to think about. First up is rime ice. This forms from tiny, supercooled water droplets. They freeze almost instantly on impact.
Okay, so quick freezing, what does that look like?
It creates this rough, kind of milky white, opaque deposit on the leading edges. So what this means in the cockpit, it's usually pretty easy to spot.
Ah, okay. That's something.
Yeah, but don't let that fool you. It still messes up your airflow, increases drag, reduces lift, still dangerous.
Right. And the next type.
Then you have clear ice. And honestly, this is the one that's terrifyingly effective.
Why is that?
It forms from larger supercooled droplets. They don't freeze instantly. They spread out a bit first, then freeze.
Ah, so it flows back.
Exactly. It forms a smooth, dense, and often transparent layer of ice.
Transparent. Oh, that's bad.
That's the killer part, what it means in the cockpit. It's incredibly hard to see, especially at night. It can build up really fast, add significant weight, and crucially, it changes the actual shapes of the airfoil.
All right, disrupting the aerodynamics completely.
Precisely. For a Cessna, even a thin layer you can't easily see can drastically increase your stall speed and change handling characteristics.
Yeah.
You might not even realize how bad it is until it's, well, too late.
So clear ice sounds like a real hidden threat, almost an unfair fight for a non-FIKI plane. What about the others?
Well, you often get mixed ice, which is just what it sounds like, a mix of rime and clear characteristics. You often find this in turbulent clouds where droplet sizes vary.
Makes sense.
And then there's freezing rain, or what we sometimes call SLD, supercooled large droplets. This is seriously hazardous stuff.
Worse than clear ice.
It can be, because it can cause extremely rapid and severe ice accumulation, sometimes even outside of clouds. In precipitation, it just coats everything very, very quickly.
Wow. So knowing these types, how do you remember this for the test? And more importantly, for the skies?
Think about how they form and what they look like. Rime. Small drops, fast freeze, milky, rough, clear. Larger drops, slower freeze, spreads, smooth, transparent. Mixed is a combo. Freezing rain is often large drops, very rapid coating. Knowing this helps you diagnose what's happening when you first see any ice.
And the effects are pretty universal across the types. Reduced lift, more drag.
Yes, exactly. Reduced lift, increased drag, which means a higher stall speed. That's critical. Plus, you can get instrument blockage ice covering your pitot tube or static ports, giving you false airspeed or altitude readings.
And carb ice, potentially.
Absolutely. Carb ice is another form of icing. And control surface issues, too. Ice can accumulate unevenly and cause vibrations or make controls feel heavy, mess with your trim.
Okay, that's a frighteningly comprehensive list.
All right.
So given all that, for the non-FIKI pilot, what's the #1 defense? Avoidance seems key.
Avoidance is the strategy. It's absolutely critical. Your best defense starts way before you even get near the airplane.
Pre-flight planning.
Thorough pre-flight weather analysis. Looking specifically for forecasts of icing, PIRPs reporting icing, freezing levels, cloud tops, visible moisture in freezing temperatures. Then plan your route strategically to stay clear of those areas or altitudes.
And what about in the air? Things change.
They sure do. So in flight, you need to be proactive. Use onboard weather radar if you have it, or get regular updates from ATC. Ask for PIRPs. If conditions look like they might be developing, deviate early. Don't wait.
That brings up a good point. What examiners expect versus what actually matters in flight?
Examiners want to hear, the theory, the types, the effects, the forecast symbols, but what really matters up there is making the decision. Having the discipline, the courage, really, to say, nope, turning around or requesting an immediate altitude change before it becomes a serious problem. That early decision is everything.
It underlines that point about the brain being the best equipment. Are there common mistakes pilots make that lead them into ice?
Yeah, a classic one is get there itis. Pressing on, hoping it'll get better just ahead instead of acting decisively. Or maybe climbing optimistically through a layer without knowing for sure what's above.
Right, assuming it'll be clear on top.
Exactly. So if you do encounter ice unexpectedly, what's the immediate action?
Escape.
Escape immediately. Don't wait to see how bad it gets. Your primary move is usually changing altitude, either climbing or descending, to find temperatures above freezing or significantly below freezing where the moisture isn't super cooled. Or a prompt 180-degree turn to get back to where conditions were safe.
And use whatever protection you have.
Absolutely. Pitot heat should already be on in potential icing conditions. Use carb heat if applicable, windshield defog, whatever you've got.
Right.
But remember, those are mostly for escape, not for continuing flight in icing for a non-FIKI aircraft.
Good distinction.
And crucially, avoid climbing through icing layers unless you have solid information, like from ATC or a PR rep right ahead of you, that there's the clear, warmer layer just above. Often, descending or turning back is the safer immediate bet.
So the mantra for the test and the skies is avoid, avoid, avoid. And if caught, escape. Now.
That's it, exactly. The best defense is a good offense, proactive avoidance. And if that fails, immediate escape. Just never, ever underestimate ice. It can develop so much faster than you think. Avoidance, backed by good weather knowledge and quick, decisive action, is key. Remember, that brain of yours, that's your most important piece of anti-icing equipment. Use it to predict, recognize, and react.
That's a powerful way to put it. Thank you. This has been a really crucial deep dive. This knowledge is absolutely fundamental for staying safe, whether you're working on that BIR or just flying IFR routes.
So for you listening,
Here's a challenge. Next time you do a weather brief, really focus on icing potential. Ask yourself, where are the freezing levels? Where's the visible moisture? What escape routes do I have pre-planned? Think about that courage to turn around we talked about. How does that factor into your gonna-go decision?